Hi everyone, this is Smruti. Welcome to QA automation classes. So today we are going to start an important topic, that is CI/CD. So let's go to the whiteboard. Okay. So we'll see what exactly is CI and what exactly is the CD, right? Okay. So the CI is something is called as the continuous delivery. Okay. And CD is continuous. Sorry, CI is the continuous integration, and CD is the continuous delivery or the deployment. Okay. So let's say here I'll say CI slash CD. Okay, so now CI CD. So CI, what exactly is this CI? CI is, let's say it is continuous. Okay, this is continuous integration. Okay, continuous integration. And what is CD? So CD is nothing but continuous deployment, continuous deployment. Okay, or you can say continuous delivery. Okay, continuous delivery. Okay, so we'll understand this concept. Okay, so how exactly this continuous integration happens? Okay, so let's say CI. Okay, so what exactly is the process of this continuous integration? This is very important to understand this concept. Okay, so what exactly happens in case of the continuous integration, right? So in case of continuous integration, what happens? So first, okay, so let's understand. Let's say there are multiple developers. Okay, so let's say let me clear this one. Let me make it a plain one. Format background solid. Okay, so yeah, so in case of the CI, what happens? Okay, so in case of the CI, so let's say there are multiple developers in the team. Okay, so when there are multiple developers in the team, so they will be designing their code. Okay, so let's say I have here let's say I have here, let's say dev 1, this is the developer 1, and then here I have dev 2. Okay, dev 2, and like that I have n number of developers. Okay, let's say dev n. Okay, so multiple developers, they work on their code. Okay, so they work on their code base. Okay, so this is dev n. Okay, so they work on their code base. They will have their IntelliJ or whatever BS code, right? Whatever they have, they will work on that one. And after their code is done, let's say this person is working on a branch called as the bug 3239. Okay, but this developer is working on a feature branch, let's say feature 3536. These are all the branches they have created, right? And this is working on, let's say, some enhancement, or let's say bug only. Okay, so this person is working on the bug, let's say 3346. Okay, so these are nothing but the branches they have to create. Okay, this branch will be created by this developer, and this branch will be created by this developer, and this branch will be created by this developer. So after that development is complete, so what they will do after the development will after complete, so unit testing, the developer will do the unit test. Okay, so let's say this first developer did the unit testing, and unit testing was successful. Okay, there was no bugs, what developer thought, and then they will say, okay, so now my code is good, so I'll push it to the remote. Okay, so what they will do, so they will push to the remote. Okay, remote means what? Push to remote means what? They will push to the their, let's say, their source code management. Let's say they're using Git or GitLab. Okay, whatever they're using, they will push the code to the remote repository. In remote, the same branch, it will get created, and they will put the code to the same branch. Okay, so this person, day one, has local bug 3239, where the developer fixed that bug and then did the unit test and the push code to the remote Git with the same branch name, let's say bug 3239. Okay, so now this one is now in the Git remote. Okay, this branch is now in the Git remote. Then what happens? Then this developer okay, they will say, okay, my code is good, let's do one thing. What we'll do? So let's okay, now there will be the peer review process, right? What exactly is the peer review process? After that, what happened? So they will raise a PR. Okay, so they will raise a PR. What is a PR, right? So PR is the process through which the developer, whatever the code fixes they have done, they want to merge that code to the development branch, right? Through this, this code will go to the development branch. Okay, development branch is the branch where all the codes are getting merged, right? So from there the build happens to the QA or dev, wherever it goes. Okay, so now they will raise a request for the peer approval, and then whoever is the persons who are going to look for the code changes what this developer has done, they will go through this. If they have some review comment, they will give the review comment. If there are review comments, then the developer has to again fix those review comments, and then again that will get updated in the peer. Okay, and then finally when it is approved. Okay, so when the peer is approved, what happens? When peer is approved, then there are two steps. Okay, so one is two ways they can merge the code to the development. If they have a option called the autocomplete, then it will be directly merged to the development, because while raising the peer, the developer will specify, okay, merge the code from my bug 3239 to the development branch. Okay, so now that if autocomplete is on, right, so then that code as soon as the peer is approved, then that will go and get merged with the development branch. If it is not there, manually also developer can merge it to the development branch. Okay, so once the code base is here, okay, once the code base is here, what happens? When the code base is here, so the developer is done with his development and the code going to the development branch. Okay, and after this what happens? So after this what will happen? So this code will be promoted to the development environment. Okay, so this will be moved to the dev environment. Okay, so a build will get created and it will move to the dev environment, and then they will deploy the build to the QA environment also. Okay, so it will go to the QA environment. Okay, and on this QA environment what will happen? So on the QA environment, the automation test engineers will have their UI automation test cases, as well as they will have the API automation test cases, right? So these two types of the automation test cases, they will be run on that build that has been deployed to the QA. Okay, so after the UI and API automation test is done and everything is passing, right, or there is a pass percentage you can specify, right? If that percentage is met, then it will say, okay, so now this build looks good. Okay, so now it can be promoted to the next higher environment. What is the next higher environment? Maybe stage, right, or the E2E. So now let's see, this is the happy path. Okay, so what happens if these UI and the API test cases are failing? Okay, if these cases are failing, okay, so what will happen? So the build will be rejected. Okay, so that build that is in QA, that build will be rejected. When the build is rejected, what will happen? Again the developers, right, so whoever worked on that feature, they will see why this code is failing. Okay, if there are any issues, they will again go and fix it, and then after fixing that one, again they will raise a PR, and through the PR it will again come to the development, and again this process will happen. UI automation test cases and API automation test cases will be run. Okay, and after everything passes, then only we'll say the integration of the code to the development is successful. So as here, if you see, the developer is continuously checking into the code and merging it to the development branch, right? So this is called as the continuous integration. So as soon as the developers are ready and their PR is approved, the code is integrated to the development and development branch, right? So this is called as the continuous integration. Okay, and this process will happen for each developer's new commit. Okay, whenever any developers they commit the things, it will be go through the same process. Okay, so this is basically called as the continuous integration. Okay, and then what is the continuous delivery then, right? So continuous delivery is after the continuous integration is successful. Okay, so CI is successful, CI is done, and then comes the CD, continuous delivery. So in the continuous delivery, what happens? When the integration is done and the build is good to be delivered to the production unlike environment, mostly we say the stage environment or E2E or UAT environment, right? And in this environment, basically the client demos are done to show to the stakeholders that what is the progress of the application, right? So this is basically promoting the code to the next higher environment. Okay, and after that then the code moves from there to the production environment. Okay, so this is this push to the stage and production can be most of the companies they do it manually. They don't do the automated deployments, right? Because most of the company they wanted feature wise. Okay, so they don't want multiple builds to be there in into the production, right? So let's understand a e-commerce application where the inventory keeps on refreshing every day or every hours, right? So that time they need to push those new changes to the production, right? Because the production is the real-time users, they're accessing that one, right? So in that case what they do, they continuously keep on pushing those builds from it will be integrated, then it will be moved to QA. After QA it will be done UI testing and API testing, and everything passes, then it goes to the stage, and from the stage it goes to the production, right? So it happens continuously in case of the Amazon or Flipkart, like this big e-commerce giants, right? So it happens like that. But in case of the most of the companies, right, the deployment to the higher environment from the QA, right, UAT or production is a scheduled release. Okay, so that is called as the continuous development. When there is a continuous delivery and continuous deployment to the production environment through the pipeline, right, that is called as the continuous delivery. So we'll see how exactly this happens. Okay, so what are the steps involved in this process? Okay, basically there are 6 steps are there. So first step would be first the developer will commit the code to the VCS, and then code will be checked out and build will be created. So before creating the build, these many things should happen, right? So they will raise a peer approval process, everything looks good, and then code is merged. Okay, so after that the build job is executed and created a build, and this build job basically it will create a archive file, maybe jar, var or year in case of the Java application, right? And then that build will be promoted to the next higher environment, that is called as the test environment, right? And then in the test environment the automated scripts are run, right, by the we will be creating some testing jobs, so those will get created and they will run on it. Okay, on that new build, and if only everything looks good and the tester pass, then the build is considered as a good build to be released to the higher environment like the stage or the production environment, and then build is deployed to the higher environment, right? So this is nothing but the complete CI/CD. Okay, if anyone asks you in the interview, instead of just giving the definition, you just explain like what is the process I have explained, right? You will say okay, the developer develops the code and pushes to the development branch. No, but you just explain this entire process. Okay, how the feature branch or bug branches are there, how they do the unit testing. After unit testing is passed, they commit to the remote repository. After committing to the remote repository, the peer, there is a peer approval process, right? After the peer is approved, then the code is merged with the development branch, and after that only build is created, and then it is promoted to the dev environment, and then to Q environment, and then the UI test and integration tests, automated tests or the jobs, those are run, and if everything looks good, then we say the integration is successful. So that is called as the continuous integration. It happens for each of the developer. So developer 1 is did the same thing, again the developer 2 will be completing after some time, and they will also follow the same process. So now again one more integration happened to the development branch, right? So this is called as your continuous integration. Similarly, continuous delivery, after everything is passed from the QA, there will be again the build pipelines. Through that pipeline the code will move to the next environment like the stage, and after stage it will go to the production. Okay, so that is called as the continuous deployment. Okay, so in one pipeline only, from the starting from the checking in the code to the development branch to deploying into the production, if there is one pipeline, right, if there is only one pipeline and there these steps are there, right, continuous integration is done, deploy to the dev, deploy to the QA, then deploy to the stage, then deploy to the prod. If this is a pipeline that has been set up and in the single pipeline everything happens, that is called as the continuous deployment. And when frequently we push the build to the production, that is called as the continuous delivery to the production. Okay, so this is the crux of the entire CI/CD. So we need to understand this process first. if you understand this process only, then only we will see, right, in the next class we will see what are the plugins required in the Jenkins, right, how the jobs are linked to each other, right, how one after another jobs are created, right, and how the pipeline is basically created, we'll be seeing in the next class. Okay, so till, if you guys have any questions, then feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please do share this content with your friends and colleagues so that they can also get benefited, and please do subscribe to the channel. Okay, that will motivate me to come up with the more such informative videos for you. Okay, thank you everyone, have a good day, bye.